Melissa, let's take a look at your x-ray. Okay, Melissa, what we have here is an oblique and comminuted fracture at the mid-shaft of the ulna. There seems to be minimal displacement here. So what we see here is that the break is at an angle, as you see, and there are two fragments. But the good news is that there seems to be no damage to the tissue. Okay, so we are going to give you some local anesthesia and realign your bones so that you don't move around. So we're going to put a cast on you. So do you have any questions, Melissa?
No. There are many different types of fractures that could occur, and many things go into classifying them. First, you have to see if it's an open or closed fracture. Is the bone sticking out of the skin or not? Secondly, you see if it's a simple or comminuted fracture, if it's in two or more pieces. Thirdly, we look at the type of fracture patterns. Common ones include transverse, oblique, spiral, impacted, and longitudinal. Then you would look at the anatomical fracture description to see displacement, angulation, rotation, and separation. Some common fractures seen in children are green stick, torus, plastic deformation, and physeal injuries. Elderly people are more prone to comminuted fractures because they tend to have weaker bones.
Okay, Melissa, you're all done. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, so how exactly is my bone going to heal?
Well, when a bone breaks, the blood vessels running down the length of the bone are damaged. Blood leads out and forms a clot called a fracture hematoma. This helps to stabilize the bone and keeps both pieces lined up for mending. Swelling and inflammation follow due to the work of cells removing dead and damaged tissue. Tiny blood vessels grow via angiogenesis into the fracture hematoma to fuel the healing process. After several days, the fracture hematoma develops tougher tissue, transforming it into a soft callus. Cells called fibroblasts, which is a type of cell critical to wound healing, begins producing fibers of collagen, the major protein in bone and connective tissue. Chondroblasts then begin to produce a type of cartilage called fibrocartilage. This transforms the callus into a tougher fibrocartilaginous callus, which bridges the gap between two pieces of bone. This callus generally lasts about 3 weeks. Next, osteoblasts move in and produce bone cells, transforming the callus into a bone callus. This hard shell lasts 3 to 4 months, and it provides necessary protection and stability for the bone to enter the final stage of healing. At this point, the body establishes the position of the bone within the flesh, begins reabsorbing bits of dead bone, and creates a hard callus to bridge the gap between the two pieces of bone. However, this bulge of tissue needs a lot of work before the bone can take any strain. Osteoclasts, which break down bone, and osteoblasts, which build up bone, spend months remodeling bone by replacing the bone callus with harder, compact bone. These cells also decrease the callus bulge, gradually returning the bone to its original shape. The bone's blood circulation improves, and the influx of bone-strengthening nutrients, such as calcium and phosphorus, strengthen the bone. Do you have any other questions, Melissa?
No, thank you, doctor.
You're welcome.